Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm, coaching paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We make that happen for your listening pleasure. We got over 1,400 of these available for that purpose, and we continue to add wherever we can in a way that is hopefully helpful to you. And we continue to do that. And if you're looking for coaching, we can certainly make that happen as well. Please feel free to reach out at PO Perception on Twitter or in the About Me section of this YouTube page. Either one will make something happen for you, and then we can go from there. So, toxic families is our audio topic for today. We all kind of have at least known someone who has either been in a toxic family or has toxic family issues. The first is lack of support. So, lack of support is a sign of a toxic family. These individuals are only interested in how you can benefit them. They're not necessarily interested in relationship building. They're also not necessarily interested in keeping the relationship going in a positive direction unless they are going to have direct benefits. So the benefit mindset is the main thing that ultimately leads things forward there, and it's certainly challenging to identify the ways in which we can continue to learn to communicate differently. And that's the other thing too. The withholding of emotional support and communication styling can be a sign of a toxic family as well. In other words, communication only comes from a toxic family when there's going to be a direct benefit to the members who are most toxic, controlling, or manipulative. They have no real interest in making long-term relationship connections or commitments. Instead, the focus is on trying to identify ways that they can control the situation in an easy way. The lack of respect is also a major issue and problem for the person who is in a situation where they're not necessarily fully happy with things, and that usually becomes ultimately the main challenge for people who are trying to identify if they can or cannot handle being in a relationship, with a toxic family member. So often, and certainly at other times in history, we have been very focused, especially in Western culture, on the idea that family relationships are necessary. But in reality, the definition of family in an ever-changing culture and in also a very emotionally driven culture versus family lineage related culture that has popped up over the last 40, 50 years has changed the meaning of family for many people. Whether this is right, quote, or wrong, quote, is debatable, but one thing is for sure: the meaning of what a family is and how it is useful and how it is to be experienced and expressed is something that a lot of people debate for numerous reasons, including but not limited to feeling under-supported and ultimately feeling like they aren't getting everything they need from that core relationship. So that continues to be a challenge for many people and in many ways and for many reasons. But when we begin to understand the value of doing that in a meaningful way, or in a way that's ultimately going to be valuable, we can then determine how to be there. Obviously, toxic families are heavy on criticism and the inability to be able to be oneself, and the inability to be able to identify how to be oneself is super, super challenging for a person as well. So identifying the ways in which we can be more honest and more open to the idea of just being able to be honest for other people's benefit, as well as, but not limited to, constructive criticism versus harsh criticism, or knowing if a person is ready for any level of criticism or conjecture about the choices they're making, the things they're doing, the things they're not doing, and the reasons behind all of the above can be another factor as well. Identifying what is right or wrong, or the ways in which we need to do that, can be interesting and obviously necessary for a number of reasons. And it's challenging because at the end of the day, we have to identify the ways in which we can do and or need to do certain things in order to maintain healthy relationships, dynamics, and boundaries. So, identifying the ways to do that is also important as well. So, we'll be back with more right after this.